Hello. Yo, what up guys? Welcome back to the shop. Today, we're gonna work on the workbench a little bit. We got some new drawers with some nice organization on the inside there. We got our vacuums hooked up on this side. So here we go. All right, so I know that I want some drawers in this thing. I know that I want my vacuums tucked away. Luckily, there is an outlet in the floor that is right under this bench, which is nice. That means I can plug my vacuums in right in the bench underneath, and I won't have any wires to trip over. So I know that I want that. I know I want my laser that I have just to be able to be tucked under the bench as well. That way, if I need to use it, I can pull it out and use it. Otherwise, it can be down there out of the way because it's kind of awkward and really nowhere else to put it. And right now, all my assembly kind of tools, squares, nail guns, sandpaper, all the things that I would need to work at the bench are kind of scattered about. I have sandpaper over there, I have nail guns over here, I have fasteners in my workbench or my toolbox over there. So I kind of want to get all that stuff consolidated right at the bench. That way it just make me more efficient when I need something that's just right here. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to do some drawers on this side, put my Festool vacuums over here because I cannot stand tripping over those things all the time. It drives me nuts. And so that's really what we're going after today. Here we go. All right, so I have two of these Festool midi vacs. One of them is older, one of them's a newer one. But I did not plan ahead with this, and unfortunately, they aren't going to fit in the opening going straight in. So I am able to get them in if I put them on their side like this, and we're going to come back to that later. What I'm looking for here is my measurement for a cabinet on the other side of the bench, because I'm going to put some drawers in there. Get the tunes going, and here we go. So I saved this plywood from my old workbench. This was that big cabinet that was in that housed the four big drawers. It's a good amount of plywood, so I didn't want to just throw it out. So I'm going to use that for this. It's just some 3/4 CDX, but it's going to work perfect for my bench. And you can see here how my nail guns are over there, my nails are over there, my drills are over there. Like everything is just all over the place. Whoops. So my goal with this is to have all my assembly tools and things that I use at the bench right at the bench. And so just throwing this together like I do all my cabinet boxes, pre-drilling and screwing everything. And then here I'm measuring for the drawers. I have some undermount slides that I'm going to use, so I cut all my drawer parts, and then here I'm putting a 1/4 inch dado and everything for the bottom. I'm just going to use 1/4 inch MDF. Now the back piece of my drawer sits on top of the bottom, so here I'm just using that piece to line it up with the blade to get my cut, and then I'll cut my two back pieces for the two drawers. This will make a little more sense when we go to assemble here in a minute. I like constructing the drawers like this. It's pretty easy for shop drawers at least. This is all pre-finished birch material. It's 5/8, and I'm just using some roux glue and nails. The roux glue is good for non-porous materials because this is pre-finished plywood, so regular wood glue would not work. And just some 1¼ inch brad nails, and I've been making drawers in my shop like this for years, and they've always held up. I've never had one fail. On a customer's project, I wouldn't necessarily make drawers like this just because I don't really want to see the nails, but I would make them a little different. But for shop drawers, this is a pretty quick and easy method. I actually have a whole video on how I make these. You can go back and watch. But so there you see the bottom is flush with the back, with the back of the side, I should say. And then my back piece, I'm just throwing some glue down, and then this will sit right in there on top of the bottom, and then everything just gets brad nailed in, and the bottom gets brad nailed to that back piece. Then we check everything for square, and this is really a solid drawer. So here I'm just assembling the other one super fast. I wish it really went this fast in real life. And the roux glue is really strong. It works great, and it's good to have on hand for materials like this. So here is my sanding drawer. So this is obviously over in this other cabinet, not near my bench, so it's not ideal. And so what I want to do is get that sandpaper into this drawer. And so I'm just going to lay everything out. Reuse my pieces and just tack everything in with some brad nails. Nothing really super fancy. You can see my Sharpie marker labels on the tops of those pieces for all my different grits that I use. And then I just pop the nails out of that other drawer. Now that other drawer will be used for something else, probably paperwork and stuff like that, because right now it's all just on top of my little desk over there. And I just brad nail those pieces on an angle. Nothing fancy. Shop cabinets. So then I get all my fasteners. I want to put a little divider in here to house all the different nails that I use. I really am only using 18 gauge brads and pin nails. I'm not using anything else. So just put a divider in there, and now you can see this drawer was 6.5 inches deep, and I'm only up a couple inches there, 3 inches. So I'm going to make a top layer to this drawer, so it's kind of two-tiered. So I cut up some plywood. Now I'm just rounding over the edges on the parts for this little box. Just the top edge. And this is just a simple box with 4 sides and that 1/4 inch piece of MDF that's going to go on the bottom. And then you'll see how it just sits on top here and slides across. This way I'm kind of using up most of this drawer box, and I'll be able to put some of my hand tools and commonly used things at the bench in that little tray. And then it just slides across, nice and easy. It gives me some extra storage. Alright, so now the cabinet is ready to go in. I'm going to put the drawer slides in first, just so that I don't have to do it when it's down low in this cabinet, or under the bench. And then attaching the locking devices, and then this drawer is loaded up with all that stuff, and I got to get the locking devices on, and I'm too lazy to take everything out, so I'm literally resting this thing on my head right there to hold it up so it doesn't fall. Using my head for once. So those are in. Now this thing I got fit nicely in there. A few screws to just hold everything in nice and tight. And this bench is flat. It is sitting level. So I'm not, worried about leveling this thing at all. But here goes the drawers going in. So the lower drawer, I didn't add any dividers or anything yet. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to put in there yet, besides a couple nail guns. But the upper drawer, obviously, I did do the dividers. And then as I work at the bench, we'll figure out what else I want to put in that bottom drawer. And so here are my fronts. I just cut some pieces of plywood. Now what I'm doing here, I'm making kind of a pull. I didn't want to actually attach like a drawer pull on it because I don't want anything sticking out. So this is from the back side. So I drilled halfway through with the Forstner bit, and then I came with the smaller Forstner bit and finished and went all the way through. You can see there, it just gives me a nice little pull. So when you stick your hand in there, it gives you a little lip to grab on and pull the drawer open. I didn't, just trying to do something quick that would be effective, and that's what I kind of came up with. And now I'm going to add a little piece of plywood in there at the bottom to give it a little platform for these things to sit on so they're not sitting on the floor. So I added some pocket screws, and we'll get these pieces screwed in. Kind of tricky. This would have been better if I thought about all this stuff before I built the base for the bench. I knew I was going to do something, but I just didn't really think this far ahead, because that's usually how I roll. I just kind of not always the best planner when it comes to this kind of stuff, but this works out really good, and I think it will be nice. In my old shop, I used to keep my vacuums under the bench, and I really liked it. I cannot stand having them on the floor. It drives me nuts. And so this little platform here will be for in between the vacuums, and I'll put the hoses with, my sander and lamello, whatever tools are attached to them. And then the wires, or the cords from the vacuum, I tucked up into one of the bays above the cabinet there, which worked out good, just to keep them kind of up and out of the way. And these things, if I need to take it out, it's easy enough to just pull the vacuum out. And then this is like perfect that I have an outlet in the floor right under my bench. And then there's my laser, so that can be stored there. You can see the hoses are gonna always kind of be like that, a little bit of a mess, but this is so much better than having them on the floor. So I am pretty stoked with this. Got my clamp there, my wooden clamp. And then here's the drawer. I added some of my commonly used hand tools. I've got some shims in there, sanding blocks, stuff like that. Stuff that I would use on a daily basis, pretty much. Some mallets and a hammer and stuff like that. Really happy with how this turned out. Fun little Saturday project. And then in the lower drawer, I've just got my brad nailer and my 23 gauge pin nailer for now. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know it's not the most exciting build video, but it's stuff that needed to get done. These drawers, I'm stoked about having all my assembly stuff and everything right in one spot, right here at the bench. And then the vacuums, I love this. Obviously, the hoses are a little bit of a mess under there, but I don't really care about that. It's so much better than having them here. I'm always tripping over them and moving them around, and they just would drive me nuts. And now, with the hoses here, I'm able to work pretty much anywhere on this bench, or kind of right there as well. If I do need to take the vacuum out, it's easy enough to pull it on its side and turn it and pull it out. Obviously, I didn't plan well when building the bench for those, but it ended up working out, being able to drop them in those little slots there and sit the vacuums there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have questions, let me know. The Patreon, we have more new people on Patreon, which is awesome. We've got Dave Rainey, Thomas M. Thank you guys for joining and becoming patrons. If you want to become one, there's a link down below and you can go over there. And like I said, we just do some shop updates and random stuff like that. All my links for website, merch, Patreon, all that kind of stuff is below. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.